Welcome, everyone, to the first of many of a series of conversations in this coaching corner between myself, Kavita Ahuja, and Carrie Carvalho. Yes, is that
Mhm.
is that
Yeah.
right? We are so thrilled to be coming in today and in the next year, actually, like periodically, to really to explore really what coaching is, how it can benefit you, how some professional and personal development topics, and how to gain awareness as you may be navigating some transitions in your life, whether it's in your career or your life, and how to create breakthroughs as well. So there's a lot of things we could discuss in this format. And today we're just going to basically begin by introducing ourselves and just talking about what coaching is and how it may benefit you and how it might differ from other modalities and other professional services. So, um, hi, Carrie, how are you?
Hi, Kavita. Yeah, I'm so glad we're here to do this together.
Yeah, it's wonderful, and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you
Yeah,
too.
yeah. So it's wonderful to start the new year off with this, and I think it's exciting, and it's wonderful to be talking, and I think sharing information about. We often talk about coaching, but sometimes people don't really understand or don't really know what coaching is. So maybe we can start with that, and I can ask you from your perspective,
Yeah,
what's coaching?
sure. I'd love to. Yeah, and I love how we're doing this at the beginning of the year too, because I
Yeah,
think, many people, myself included, you look forward to this next year thinking about what do I want to empower or what do I want to accomplish, etc.
exactly.
So, what is coaching? So, the way I like to describe coaching is it's a powerful conversation. That's how
Hmm.
I like to start by talking about it because with my clients, ultimately, that's what it is. It's like we
Hmm.
have a set container of space and time where we come together, and there are certain goals, aspirations, things you're working on. And consider that this coaching session or this container of time is for you
Hmm.
to put commitment to yourself and to focus in on those things.
Hmm.
So, with coaching, I always like to say that I don't have all the answers, but I know that you do, you being the client.
Yeah.
So,
Yes.
coaching is a conversation to help you get out of your own way. It's a conversation to help you kind of uncover what might be blocking you, maybe some limiting beliefs or some fears or past stories. And ultimately, my job as the coach is to ask you those questions so that you can figure out how you want to move forward, what's the best way to move forward, and there's nothing like it. There's nothing like having like a neutral, reflective person to
Hmm.
just stand for you and what you want to create.
Hmm.
Yeah. What
Absolutely.
about you? Like,
Yeah, no,
how
I
do you?
completely agree. And I like that last part you said about the neutral, because I think it's really important to have somebody who is like unbiased, who is able to look at you as a person and understand, and see things that maybe you can't see in yourself, and bring out things that maybe you don't even know are there. And the other thing is not only that, I believe a coach is also important because it's kind of like an accountability partner. If you have goals for yourself and you really don't know where to go or how to start or what to do, oftentimes you can work it on your own. However, if you have someone who's there to guide you and to bring out what's inside of you, and then, as you said, break through those blocks that you may have and also help you gain that confidence, then it actually, you can probably achieve what you're hoping to achieve in a shorter amount of time, right? I don't know if you agree with that, but
Yes, for sure.
I know the way that I coach is that, and a good coach, like, should be empathetic and should be understanding, but also be, I think, a little firm as well in terms of,
Hmm. Hmm.
if this is, because the whole point is to move forward, right?
Yeah.
And is it's about the action. And so uncovering the blocks and realizing that, um, okay, what are we going to do next time, for
Yeah.
next week
Right.
to achieve these things? So it's really about accountability and helping, I think, also helping my clients, crystallize their vision of what they want,
Mhm.
and breaking through those barriers. So I think those are the points that are
Mhm.
really, really important.
Yeah.
Yeah. Really, it's bringing
I
out the
love
best in people, right? It really
it,
is.
it totally brings
Yeah.
out the best in people. And one of the things I heard you say, Kavita, that I really liked was you said, how are we going to move forward? And I
Hmm.
think that's so key in coaching, because
Hmm.
it's doesn't dwell in the past. The
Hmm.
past is a
Hmm.
context that
Hmm.
of course we bring with us, but as a coach with your client, it's an opportunity to say, okay, well, how do we want to move forward from here into the future?
Hmm.
Because
Hmm.
every day, every decision, every next minute is a choice. So I love how you said that, like looking forward.
Yeah.
And then also, we have so many different people in our lives. We have our partners, we have our family, we have our friends, we have our coworkers. And I think in life, we need all those different parties for different things, right? The coach is unique because we're off the court. Like, is it like neutral? We're off the court. We aren't
Right.
necessarily like in your stuff. And we don't have to be, because our job is to help you elevate and see things from, a different perspective, to really stand for you as that
Yes.
accountability partner,
Absolutely.
to
Yeah.
move forward.
Yeah.
A friend might offer a different level of support, and that's
Yeah.
also needed and so important. But that's a coach is like that accountability partner, almost like a personal trainer, where you know they're expecting you to show up and you're
Yeah.
expecting yourself to show up,
Yeah.
and it's all in pursuit of you achieving your vision.
Yeah. Yes. Absolutely. And one of the things is, I think, by how we are trained, like it as coaches, is to really uncover what's inside of you, what's deeply inside of you. And we do that through powerful questioning, right?
Yeah.
And listening, because often when you ask the powerful questions, and the answers that, our client, you as a client would answer, you may not even realize what you're saying. And then when you have somebody relay it back to you, it's like, whoa, did I say that? And what does that
Hmm.
mean? So it's really
Hmm.
about the listening. And again, it's also, I think, um, as maybe as women, especially too, we don't often give ourselves the time.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yep.
so it's our time, right? To
Okay.
give ourselves the time and space to really rediscover who we are, and having that partner to help us
Mhm.
along the way is really important. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember when I had first hired my coach. I was a stay-at-home parent at the time, and I hired a coach. And I gotta say, just the act of just hiring a coach was in and of itself like such a gift, because
Yes.
it was me making a declaration that I was going to take time for myself and give time to myself. And I just remember
Beautiful.
feeling so
That's nice.
relieved when I had that time where someone was showing up for me and asking me questions and helping me
Yes.
discover what I truly wanted. And
Yes.
yes, it's time well spent, and it truly is. It's an investment in your self-care. It's an investment in your aspirations.
Hmm.
And giving
Yeah.
back time to yourself is so key for women, right? Because we give time to so many other things around
Right.
us just naturally.
Exactly.
And we're really good at it. We're really
Yeah,
good
we
at
are. It's time to give time for ourselves, right? So
that. Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
great. I often I have questions from people who, are curious about coaching, and don't really know, okay, they know what it is, so we've kind of defined that. But how does it differ from example from maybe therapy,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
or, even consulting,
Mm-hmm.
right? So I
Yeah.
don't know, maybe if you want to take the therapy thing, and maybe I'll do the consulting thing.
Yeah, yeah, totally. Yeah.
Yeah.
And one thing that's interesting to preface with the therapy, a lot of my clients see a therapist and me, right? So they
Yeah,
actually are very
sure.
complementary. So the way I describe it is that therapy tends to look more at the past. So
Mm.
perhaps some emotional trauma, family circumstances, things that have happened in your past that have had, huge important impacts on who
Mhm,
you are today.
mhm,
And they do often require a trained professional in the therapeutic space.
mhm,
And so I
mhm,
think therapy is more towards the past versus coaching is more, okay, we have here and now and moving forward. How are we going to create what you want to create moving forward?
mhm,
And I
mhm,
know, one of the things I know we're both trained in, Kavita, as certified coaches, is that when there is perhaps a topic that comes up that might be more in that therapeutic realm,
Yes,
like we are trained to be able to inquire and make sure that that individual is getting that appropriate support that they need. So I've
absolutely.
asked clients before, like, is this something you might be consider talking to a therapist about, or are you talking to a therapist?
Right.
So that's my 2 cents
That's
on that.
very important.
It's so important.
It's almost important as to know what it is as to know what it's not, right? Because
Mhm.
that's right. And often these two professions, they do complement each other greatly, right?
Mhm.
Um, in terms of consultants, I think what a consultant, the difference I think between consulting and coaching is that a consultant does give advice based
Mhm.
on their expertise and analyzing the situation and recommending solutions,
Mhm.
right? Whereas coaching, we don't really give advice. We suggest based on our conversations.
Mhm.
Um, and it's not about us. It's about,
Right. It's about
right?
the client.
It's
Mhm.
about the client and really uncovering the answers that are always within. So I think there's a bit of a difference there with the consulting world, because you give consulting recommendations and those
Yeah.
policies or whatever, and this is more you know, it's not giving advice. Let's put it that way.
Yeah.
Is that
That's
anything
so
to
well
add on
said.
that? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so well, I
Yeah.
totally agree with that. And
Yeah.
I think the plus on that is that, you know, coaching definitely is forward thinking and has action oriented elements to it. I think the difference is that the client is coming up with those actions themselves. Like they
Exactly.
have the
Exactly.
awareness, and then
Yeah.
I'm always asking my clients, okay, so how do you want to put this into action? Or like, what
Right.
do you
Right.
plan to do about this? And so
Right.
they then put the actions in place versus what you said about consultants who might just say, okay, go do this because this will help.
Sometimes we feel like doing that, but we have to.
I know, I know. Yes, and sometimes, I mean, honestly, I have had clients say, like, "Well,
Yeah.
what do you think I should do?" And
Yeah.
I think it's always very important to sometimes, as coach, to clarify. Okay, I have my coaching hat on, or
Yes.
if you are at times in the very small percentage of time being a consultant for whatever reason,
Mhm.
always just clarifying. Okay, this is
Sure.
now with my consultant hat on.
Sure.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
So
And
tell me,
so,
Mary.
oh, I was about to ask you, but we can go either way.
Okay.
Yeah,
So how did you get into coaching? Tell me,
yeah.
tell us how.
My my coaching journey, it all began with my career in human resources. So
Okay.
early on, that was my passion. I read this book called "Do What You Are," which inspires you to take your Myers Briggs
Yes.
personality test, and
Yes.
that can help inform perhaps some different industries that you would be a fit for. So for me, that was being in services. So human resources. I joined that in a small tech company, and then got my MBA, and then joined a larger tech company in the Bay Area. And so I think informally, I was always coaching. I was coaching
Mhm.
employees, I was coaching my team, and I love those one-on-one conversations where
Mhm.
people could feel safe and they could feel heard. I then was doing really well in my career on this HR trajectory, and then I had my first child. So I, at this moment in time, had a difficult decision to make. Do I continue on my career trajectory or become a mom, full-time mom? And so I had always had that dream to be a stay-at-home parent, to be honest. And not many people knew about this, but this was always my dream. And so at that time, I now know, like looking back, I so wish I had a coach. Okay, this is important because it's like kind of informs who I'm helping today. But I really wish I had had someone other than my husband and someone other than HR to talk to about this critical decision I was making.
Sure.
And in any event, I didn't have a coach. It turned out okay, but it would have been easier with a coach.
Yeah.
So I was a stay-at-home parent, and then that was wonderful. It was necessary. We lived in Europe for a couple years, and it was the right thing for our family.
Mhm.
I then started to have that itch and that feeling of, okay, what's next for me? I'm ready to dive back into my career. What does that look like?
Yeah.
Now, this time I did hire a coach. So I hired my own coach. And like I said earlier, this is now me having that space to explore what I wanted and needed.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, it was discovered within me that I really wanted to be a certified professional coach. So I just dove right into that, did a coach training program, launching my business at the same time. And I'm inspired and motivated to be a coach today because I really want to make it easier for those parents kind of walking behind me, if you will.
Yes.
So I love working with, high achieving working parents who are navigating transitions in and out of the workforce, or in general are just really trying to figure out how parenting, career, and self all
Yes.
go together when you throw in choice and empowerment, versus obligations and expectations.
Right.
So that's how I got to become a coach, because it made such an impact on me. And now, I'm paying that forward and loving the work that I'm doing with my clients.
Oh, wow. That's such a great story. And, it's so important because it's from your own life experience, right? And there's you experience yourself and now you want to give back, and that's wonderful. And it's so, as you were talking, it's like, those moments in time when we are asking ourselves what's next. That kind of happened to me too.
Mm,
So, I'll share a little bit about how I
I would
started.
love to hear your story. Yeah.
Um, so I came into coaching actually for my own career and life transition as well. So I think you may have known this, but I was in the pharmaceutical industry for 25 years actually,
Mm,
specialty sales and marketing. And it was great. It was wonderful. It was lucrative. It was comfortable. And
okay.
it was a great career, even in my 20s and 30s and even into my 40s. And then something happened around the time I turned 50. And it was just kind of this light, or this something inside of me, which was like, is is this it?
Mm,
It's those transition periods we all face. And I think some women who are listening can relate to that. It was everything was great and comfortable and fine, but I wasn't as motivated or excited about things anymore. And I wanted to be. And I saw women around me who were the same. They felt like they were stuck or maybe unfulfilled. And it's like they didn't know what to do or how to go about figuring that out, right? And at the same time, it was my work, and then it was menopause, and it was kids leaving the home, and now we're empty nesters. So there's all these transitions. And I always firmly believe in, which is why I went into coaching, is these transitions in our life are such an important, critical period to really dig deep and ask those important questions. Because these are the times when we really get to know ourselves and really figure out what is it, who we are, and what do we really want.
mhm,
And
mhm.
so the way I came into coaching is I decided to leave. I decided to explore myself. I created a program. I followed the program through a lot of studying and research. And I wanted to give this back to women who are also going through these transitions in life, especially women who are going through mid-career life transitions, wondering what's next. So it's a step-by-step process. I call it the pyramid of reinvention. And it's really
Yeah.
about rediscovering who you are from the inside out, you know,
Mhm,
your strengths, your passions, your values. Where do you visualize yourself in the future? What are some of the obstacles in your way? And then, the confidence is a big piece too. Like, how do you gain that confidence to do what you're going to do next? So yeah, it came kind of full circle because it was my own transition. I
yeah.
went through, I got through it. And at the time I had several coaches, which also opened me to the idea that, wow, I can do this. This is great. I love it. And now,
Mhm,
and you just push yourself and you utilize skills that you didn't know you had,
mhm.
and that's what I like to do as I coach women is, what is it that you really want? And like, what do you dream of? And what are some of your buried passions that you maybe have not, uh, thought about in years, that maybe
Mhm,
it's time you bring it out, and
mhm, mhm.
encouraging them to do that. Because I did it, and I'm so fortunate and blessed to be able to, I think, be in this career and help women along the way. So that's how I came
Beautiful.
into it.
Yeah.
I know it was a long about this
Yeah.
explanation, but Yeah.
Yeah, it's so beautiful to hear that, Kavita. And I was just reflecting upon how, like, how you, when you were going through this transition, you were asking yourself like these super powerful questions. And now I can just
Absolutely.
only imagine how you are now, you can ask your clients those same questions because
Yes.
you've seen
Yes.
the impact directly on your own life trajectory.
Yes.
And
Yes.
yeah, it's like, if not now, then when, right? When we think
Yes.
about our dreams and our goals. And
Yes.
so
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you and I could probably chat for hours about coaching, all of our journeys, but I think, yeah, for our listeners now, this is just like, just, we're skimming the surface on it, right? In
Yes.
terms of
Yeah.
what coaching is, the process, and how we got to where we are today.
Yes. Yes. I think it's definitely something that if you're curious about exploring, if you have questions about where you are now, where you want to be, or how to get there, reach out to either one of us or
Yeah.
any other coach, like because
Mhm.
um, as we said earlier, coaching is a partnership, and it is really our whole focus is to bring out the best in you in the best way that we can.
Mhm.
And we're certified and trained to do that. So uh,
Yeah.
yeah, we'd love it if and we'd also encourage questions for future.
Mhm.
We're open to topics, any topics that come up, and but stay tuned for further conversations. And I love this format. It's great to have a conversation with a fellow coach and
Yeah.
to learn from your perspective as well. So
Mhm. Yeah, likewise. Thank you, Kavita. I've loved having this time together. And yeah, to all those listeners, yeah, we hope to chat with you soon. We're always here available if you need anything. And we'll see you soon for our next
absolutely.
video.
All right. Take care.
Bye.
Bye.